Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Droid Life Show, episode 128. Today, it's Friday, December 16th. I'm Rose Kellen. With me, Tim. Tim, say hi.
Hey guys, how's it going? Tim here.
So thanks for joining us during this fun holiday season. We've got quite a bit to talk about. We've got a couple of phone reviews on the books now that we want to talk about. OnePlus 3T and the Le Echo Le Pro 3. We also want to talk about Galaxy Note 7 once again because the phone's like officially dying in the next couple of weeks, depending on carrier. We'll talk about that. There's some new Galaxy S8 rumors. We got Android 7.1.1 updates, Fitbit buying Pebble. We might talk about headphone jacks and Gmail or inbox and things like that. We got some stuff. So let's dive into this. I guess let's start first with OnePlus 3T review. So our OnePlus 3T video review is out. If you haven't seen that yet, and we went video review only just because we've already written review the OnePlus 3 and the 3T is really not that much different. So anyway, this is the phone, OnePlus 3T. Review it. So I came from Pixel onto this thing, and I will say if this had Nougat right now, I might still be using it. Not that I don't like the Pixel, but like this phone, after using the OnePlus 3, then switching off it for a while and then coming back to it, it's such a good phone. Camera, not the best, nowhere near Pixel or Galaxy S7 or anything like that, but really good overall, just software and all of that stuff. And the battery life's insane. For me anyway, I was getting like 4 hours screen on time, which is a lot. And I was charging it once every 24 hours. Basically each morning I was charging it. It's not even before I went to bed, which is something. So, the phone, the upgrades on it, battery, storage, if you want to spend a little extra, new processor, new front camera, not huge upgrades, but the price is only $40 more. I don't know. I'm a big fan of this phone. Like I said, when it gets Nougat soon, I'll probably consider using it. In fact, when we go to CES in a couple of weeks, this should have Nougat by then. It'll probably either be backup phone for when the Pixel dies, or maybe even be main phone. I guess we'll see. Yeah.
Didn't think I would ever hear you really say something like that.
I know. OnePlus 3, though, it's 3T. It's just a really, really good phone. And if you are on sort of, I don't want to say a limited budget, because it's not like $440 is a small amount of money. This isn't like a $200 mid-ranger, right? $440 is still some cash you got to spend up front. But if that's your budget, you just can't go wrong. If like your budget's under $500, I don't know why you wouldn't buy that phone unless you're on Verizon or Sprint. It's that good, I think.
That's sort of a lot of people, not including Verizon. You know, that always sucks. Like a lot of these unlocked phones are so good these days, and Verizon users can't access them. Sprint users, and the 5 people can't access the unlocked phones. It's a real bummer. But yeah, for Verizon users especially, seems all these great phones, and their first question always is, well, does it have Verizon bands? Nope. Probably never will.
Yeah. I can't imagine that OnePlus is ever going to support CDMA, right? It's just like not, the cost associated with it is insane, I believe. And it takes time and the testing and all that. They don't want to do that. They want to put out a phone. Like one of the things I think is cool about this phone, and there's good and bad, right? They released the OnePlus 3 in June or whatever, and we already now have this 3T. Some people are annoyed. I think my doorbell just rang.
It did. Is that FedEx? Finally?
Oh yeah, he walked away. It looks like UPS though.
Wow.
Dang. Anyways, sorry guys, I'm expecting a package and it's snowing here, and Tim and I have been without anything for a couple days. So, anyways, so I know there's some people that are annoyed that OnePlus 3 was out and then the 3T is already out. But I also look at it the other way, that it's pretty cool to see a company go, all right, we put together the best phone we could put together at the time, which was in June, right? And then a few months went by and they're like, well, Snapdragon 821's out. We can make the battery bigger. We can swap out the camera and only raise the price $40. Let's do it. And then they did that within like 5 months. Samsung's not doing that. Like the S7 could have been improved, let's say, maybe with an 821. They're not going to do that, right? But OnePlus is like, we're a small company. We can do things a little bit quicker. And then they just upgrade their phone and release a new one. And then they wiped out the other one. So it's not like they're like, well, you could still buy the 3 or upgrade the 3T. Like, no, the 3T is the only phone they sell now. So I think it's cool that a company has sort of moved that quickly. You just don't see that from the big companies. But OnePlus 3T, really, really nice phone. I'd 100% recommend it if that's kind of your budget, or even if you don't want to. I guess it's not like if you have $700 to spend, you should ignore this phone. I think it's up there with other flagships, just maybe not in the camera department.
Hmm.
Yeah, 3T.
That's good. Good stuff. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I wish they would offer maybe a different color, but whatever.
I got my girlfriend running like the standard OnePlus 3 right now, and she loves it. So
that's what you said, and I could totally see that. Did you get her on the Nougat beta?
No, like I'm not gonna. No, it's like not my thing.
Like I'm not gonna tinker with her phone and break something and then get blamed for it.
Exactly. Well, I don't do tech support for anyone in my family, including my girlfriend. So if she's like, this beta sucks, or if there's something wrong with it, you know, it's like, no. I don't have that kind of time.
I don't blame you. Tech support's one of those things I try to avoid with family too. When they ask me questions, the problem is they ask you a question and you know it's so much deeper than they think it is. And so you just kind of go, this is going to suck. And then I usually just spout off like one quick thing that may solve it, knowing that it's probably not going to.
Yeah.
And then it's just game over after that.
Or like there's a lot of problems that Android just gives people who don't really know, sort of like, you know, the in-depth stuff to cell phones, right? So for example, I've been recently having a problem where Google Now just won't load. And so my girlfriend, she swipes over, sees that Google Now isn't responding. She like tries to refresh it. I mean, she understands the refresh, but even that doesn't work, or it takes a long time to load. And it's like, well, you know, like Google servers must be crapping out or something like that, you know, like what do you want me to do about it? And then there's another one. Oh, it's the big one. It's battery drain issues. If there's an app or if it just says Android system or whatever, or media server that's draining her battery, I'm like, you know what? Honestly, I don't think anyone in the world knows what that means. So I can't help you. Like just restart your phone. If you're using Facebook too much, maybe tone it back a bit. Other than that, I can't help you.
I usually tell my wife it's Facebook. I'm like, I every once in a while I'll pull up the batter thing, go, let's see if there's an app just killing it, and it's usually Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, media. I mean, so the Google team sort of renamed a lot of that stuff, so it's a little bit harder to tell what might be killing your battery at times. But system UI, what the hell does that mean? How could that be draining the battery?
Android OS, I think Android System OS or whatever it is, which tells you absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's very vague.
Yes, it is.
Very ambiguous.
Anyway, so not to get off track there, but yeah, OnePlus 3T, really, really, really nice phone. It may be back ordered or something at this point. So I don't know if you can even order the thing now. If you got in early, you probably have the phone. And again, it's supposed to have Nougat here before the end of the year. So the next couple of weeks, there's a Nougat beta out for the regular 3. And then once this phone gets on Nougat, as with the 3, they will just be on the same software track. And OnePlus, we used to kind of hammer on them for being pretty terrible with software updates. They're actually pretty good right now. In the last year, they've pushed out a whole bunch of software updates. The 3T just got an update the other day. It wasn't Nougat, but it still already got an update. So they're certainly improving. 2016, I think, was a pretty good year for OnePlus after the kind of disaster year that was 2015. All right. So anyway, you reviewed the Echo Le Pro 3, which is their new flagship for the US.
Just Pro 3, please.
Okay, let's just call it Pro 3.
Yeah. For the sake of my sanity,
just Le everything. This is my Le review of Le Echo's Le Pro 3.
Exactly.
Let's see what I think.
I heard that a lot. But so reviewed the Pro 3. Nice little phone. There's a lot to be said, though. Not too much time to say it. I will say, the hardware, very nice. $300 phone. It was classy. Snapdragon 821 processor. A lot of people at first, they were confused. Maybe that wasn't the actual Pro. 821 Pro. There are different models of the 821. There's like a cheaper version, not so cheap version.
This one really true?
Yes, that is completely true. That same model numbers and everything. So
I think that don't the 820. No, I think the 820 and the 821 have the same model number. I don't know that there's an 821 Pro. If somebody told you that, I think they're lying.
According to the Wikipedia entry that I verified, because when I was doing the review, I wanted to make sure I had the right information, because the phone was not performing as if it had like a really high-end Qualcomm processor inside of it. So I was like, I'm going to double check. And I would
just blame Echo for having shit software.
That's exactly what I did, because I mean, I confirmed that at least the model number I downloaded, like a processor identifier. And so I wanted to make sure what I was running before I went out there and was like, da 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 da. But so yeah, I confirmed it has a really good processor. It's got really nice hardware, and the specs are great, of course. 1080p display, it looks fine and it feels good in hand. I think I was coming from the Pixel XL at the time, and I was missing the Pixel like crazy because the Pro 3 software, it's sort of trash. It's sort of trashy, and it lags and stutters. And coming from a Pixel or any other phone, even a OnePlus 3 that I used for a little bit around that time before I handed it off to the girlfriend, those phones run so much smoother. And so I told, at least in my review, I said, before you start picking this up, you may want to wait for Let Echo to receive a bit more US user feedback in terms of the software. Because a lot of times, these companies, they'll push their skin. And we saw this with Honor, and they addressed this, at least in their EMUI 5. But, some markets prefer the heavy skins. Other markets, especially I feel like the US, prefer it to be a bit more lighter. Yeah. So I think Leeco may take that advice to heart from probably at least a lot of the reviews I've seen. So definitely hold off maybe on buying the Pro 3. Again, nice little phone, but the software doesn't really make for all that great of an experience. However, some of those add-on features like the LED TV and the Eco Pass that gives you special deals on ledmall.com. Some of that stuff is pretty cool, but I don't know if it's really worth investing yourself in their entire ecosystem at this time. And, on top of that, they sent over a TV that used to sit right behind me. And the TV was really nice. It ran Android OS. Like Android TV wasn't like an add-on feature for the TV. That was like the actual OS of it. And it was real nice. Little button right on the remote for Netflix. And even though every TV now ships with a button for Netflix on it, but it was really nice. I enjoyed it. I still enjoy Android TV. I rock a Shield on the 2 TVs I have in my house, and I love Android TV. It's nice I can just cast things to it, but having it built in the TV made it very easy. So LED TV I can actually recommend quite heavily. If you have a Best Buy near you, maybe go check out the panels for yourself. But it was a 55-inch 4K HDR, but it was insanely thin. It was like piece of paper thin. I was blown away just by sort of how nice it looked in person and bringing it out of the box. So thin, so light, but the picture was very crisp and 4K. So yeah, definitely can recommend LED TV, but not LED phone all too much. But yeah.
I can't stand the home button on that thing. It's the little LE logo. Come on.
Well, just put the
home button on it if you're going to do that.
The LED light that powers that button is so weak that you really don't even notice that it's a LED Echo logo unless you look really close into it. It just looks sort of like a muddled light, right? So
it looks bad.
It's not too detailed, which is good, I guess. But yeah, definitely, going from on-screen buttons to capacitive and all that. And it's sort of backwards too, kind of like how Samsung does it. Samsung has their back button on the right side, recent apps on the left. So, it takes getting used to, like everything else. Some days I wish that we were all iPhone users and we all had the same like hardware and software experience, but
how boring would that be? Get to review one phone a year.
I know.
I honestly wonder what Apple News Media does all year round because they get one phone a year.
You see what they do. They talk about like everything else that Apple's working on. You have to talk about the Apple cars. Got to talk about the MacBooks. Got to talk about Apple TV. They pimp Apple TV like crazy. It's all they have to talk about. Or like the new public beta changes for Sierra. It's got to be boring, man. I much prefer being an Android blogger.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Solo Pro 3. You're not necessarily recommending like I just did the OnePlus 3T.
Definitely not. Battery was great. I will say, some pros. Battery was huge.
Is their skin worse than Huawei's?
Well, Huawei 4.1 or Huawei, like the EMUI 4.1 or 5.0?
With 5.0, the newest.
Oh, no way. 5.0 is way better than the EMUI. Wait.
No. EMUI 5.0 is better than whatever phone is using.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm spacing on what I think Let Echo calls theirs. No.
What do they call it?
UMI? I forget right now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're both skins.
We'll just call it UI.
Yeah. EMUI from Let Echo.
No, from Huawei.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely Huawei skin is better than Let Echo's. Like way better. It's way better, dude.
Especially the new version, yeah.
Yeah, the new version's really nice. So that's the review I'm working on now. After the Pro 3, I switched to the Mate 9. Mate 9 is an awesome phone.
A chocolate Mate 9.
Oh yeah, it's chocolate gold. It's really hot. I'm really looking forward to starting shooting that. I'm gonna try and start this weekend, I think, just because we've had some snow. I could probably get some really cool shots. The phone's not waterproof, unfortunately, so I can't like toss it in the snow, but that would be cool. But yeah, so then from the Mate 9, then I've been using the Axon 7 Mini for the past like week, and that's a good phone. So I'll review that one after. And now I'm back on the Pixel XL because I have no other phones, I think, on my agenda, at least that I'm aware of. And I am loving life right now. I've been using
I got a V20 here if you want to do another review.
Dude, no, that's like your responsibility. I know.
I know.
But yeah, Pixel Life is really great.
Pixel Life. It is pretty nice.
Yeah.
All right. So Galaxy Note 7, just to catch everyone up. Galaxy Note 7 was recalled a long time ago because not safe. And some people have decided not to return those. And every few weeks or so, Samsung puts out a new notice that says, hey, we're at 75%, we're at 80, we're at 90. I think they're at 90 or 95% now return. Oh, they're at 93% return rate. But because there's still people out there who refuse to return those, Samsung has decided that it's just going to nuke your phone. And they're gonna push a software update. So they already pushed one, I believe, right? Like a month ago, that limited the batteries to 60% charge or something like that. I think they already pushed out one, but they are going to push out an update starting December 19th. At least that's when they're going to have it ready. That will no longer allow the phone to charge. And so if you own a Galaxy Note 7 and this update is forced onto your phone will then no longer charge. And so when the battery dies on it, you can't charge it. It will just be dead. And that's because there are still people out there who refuse to return these things. So we've had some carriers, well, Verizon kind of held off from announcing what the hell it was doing. And initially they said, like, we're not going to do this to our customers. But eventually it caved or just was not being open enough about what they were doing. Either way, all 4 major US carriers at this point have all said when they're doing it. So Verizon says they will push the update on January 5th. AT&T also on the 5th. T-Mobile on December 27th, and Sprint January 8th. So if you're on T-Mobile, you've got 11 days. If you're not on T-Mobile, you've got a little bit longer, maybe another extra week or so on there. But either way, if you own a Note 7, you're going to have an update show up really soon that is going to kill your phone. And you should just get rid of the damn thing.
It's a really nice phone, though, man. Like, why would I want to get rid of it? It's like the nicest phone ever. It's got an iris scanner.
It is a really nice phone. It's a sweet phone, but it's still not safe. It's just not safe. It's
just because a very small percentage of the phones exploded doesn't mean that they're all dangerous. Why are you trying to cover up the fact that Samsung is just trying to cover their own butts, and like this is a whole marketing thing? What's wrong with you?
If people knew the inside shade you're throwing there. Yeah. So there's clearly some people out there who don't want to return it because they don't think there's anything really wrong with these phones. That's a really stupid opinion and take to have because Samsung's losing billions of dollars here. They wish they could not deal with this or didn't have to, but they have to. And because they don't want to risk another phone blowing up, maybe on an airplane and take out hundreds of people with it. Yeah, they want you to not use your phone, and so they're going to kill it. And you know what? Good for Samsung for doing that because you had a chance to return it, and you decided no, that your phone was more important than other people's lives, and that's that. So it's going to die.
Yeah, well, I'm with you. I don't know why someone would risk. I mean, yes, small percentage, but why would you want to become possibly a part of that small percentage and have your house or your Jeep burned down or whatever, Like, it's just not worth it. There's plenty of other phones out there that are completely safe. However,
there are so many phones. Sure, they may not be as good as the Note 7. Just use it for a year. Wait till the S8 Edge comes out. It'll be just as good. You only have a couple months. Just get something to pass the time. You'll survive, I promise. Note 7 guy, you'll survive. It'll be fine. And no one will die in the process.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. However, at the same time, I'm with people who want to keep their phone. Like, I get it. It's dangerous. But you know what? So are guns. And we have the Second Amendment. And if these people want to hold on to their Note 7s, this is America. So until the cop breaks down the door and pries the Note 7 from my cold, dead hands, that guy should be allowed to keep.
I would guess there's probably also some... I hate to keep going back to airplanes, but that was like the big one, right? Is that you're not allowed to bring. So if Samsung doesn't fully kill every single last one for the next 5 years, every single airplane is going to say before you take off, you can't have a Note 7 on here. And Samsung probably wants that to go away. And if they've gone through with killing all of these phones, they can say like, no, there's none left. There's none left. You don't have to say that anymore and stop damaging their brand every time someone flies. I guess I understand the argument that this is my phone. I get to do what I want with it, but it's just stupid. Just get rid of it. It's not that big a deal. There's other phones. There's going to be a new Note 8. You're telling me you can't go another 11 months or something? You just have to have this stupid phone? Like, come on. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Yeah. So in the next few weeks, if you do still own one, it's going to die. And that's probably the way it should go down. Samsung Shield says, are you being sarcastic? I don't know if that person's talking to us or not.
I just assume maybe he's yes. Yeah, I think you should turn in your Note 7. Probably not, and I don't equate it to the Second Amendment.
Tim was completely joking around there. He also believes people should get rid of their stupid Note 7.
Yeah.
Let's see. Latest news on the Galaxy S8 to move away from Note 7 talk. Bloomberg reports that they may be going all screen front display sort of idea there. Maybe like Xiaomi's Mi Mix. Maybe they actually say virtual buttons, which virtual buttons, that means on-screen buttons, right? Like we're talking a Samsung phone with on-screen buttons.
That's what that means. Yeah. That can't mean something else.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, I guess I'll believe that when I see it. And we could have an embedded fingerprint reader under the glass because there's a few companies now doing that technology. Or I think there was a rumor out today that maybe it'll be on the back. I mean, you can't even keep up with this crap.
No.
Snapdragon 835, which would make sense because that's Qualcomm's new processor, and Samsung is basically making them all. So Snapdragon 835 in the US. I don't know if there's much else new, right? Very little bezel. Obviously, it's an AMOLED. It'll have curved stuff. Am I missing anything? We have any other new rumors? The S8, that's kind of it, right? And this is all sort of stuff we expect.
Right. I mean, it seems like it's changing every day. But like you mentioned briefly, but the new thing is going away from fingerprint reader underneath display and having it on the back.
Just on the back instead.
Yeah. So, and that's the newest that I've read. It seems like every 5 minutes there's something new. So.
Something new. And that would be fine. We're obviously big fans of the rear fingerprint reader.
I'm a huge fan. I love that. I love that placement. So good. So good.
Yeah, the only thing I like about front ones is when your phone's just sitting on your desk and you can just put your finger on it.
True.
That's the only thing. Like the OnePlus 3T, because the OnePlus 3T has the capacitive style, unlike Samsung's, which are a clicky, stupid button. Right. OnePlus 3T, you just put your finger on there, which is nice.
Well, I'd rather just be able to like swipe my hand over the phone and just get like an active display going. And
that too.
That would be nice.
That too. All right, so let's see. I think it was last week, Android 7.1.1 updates went stable, official, started rolling out to Pixel and Nexus phones. So that means Pixel XL each got 7.1.1 new updates. Pixel C got it, Nexus 6B, Nexus 5X, Nexus Player, and Nexus 9. So all those, which are still the supported phones, all got updates, 7.1.1. And what's new in 7.1.1? App shortcuts, right? 7.1 has app shortcuts, emoji or GIF keyboard. I'm going to say GIF forever, by the way. GIF keyboards. What else is new in 7.1.1? We should have this.
I wish I could tell you. I mean, I just now loaded up the Pixel and got it running, so this is a new
Yeah.
experience for me.
That's funny. Here, let me load it up. I should have this handy. Yeah, so app shortcuts, GIF or GIF keyboards,
Pretty sweet though.
just image keyboard support. There's not a ton of new stuff, right?
I don't think it's a lot.
It's not a lot. Oh, circular app icon support. I forgot about that. Everyone loves that. That's actually pretty much it. So anyway, that's out. So all those devices should have it by now. You said you just got it on yours. You hadn't checked in a while.
Yeah.
It should just be downloading that in the background, shouldn't it? And if you reboot, it should just install it.
7.1.1?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't even have the phone on. Like I just turned it on for the first time in like a month. So
Poor Dan in the chat says Nexus 6 doesn't feel the love. Sorry, Dan.
no, probably not.
Sorry, Dan.
No love for you.
I wonder how many Nexus 6 people upgraded. Because the Nexus 6 was one of those expensive Nexus phones. And it's 2 years now, and the Pixel came out. I wonder if a lot of people upgraded or not. Dan's obviously still holding on to that Nexus 6.
Yeah, that was a really expensive phone when it first came out. And
the whale.
I never liked that phone. The only time I really used it was so I could use Project Fi.
It was.
I never fell in love with it. It's just way too big.
It was a really nice phone, performance-wise, one of the best phones I've ever used. Like just the overall feel of it, it was just too damn big. It was just too damn big. If they would have made a small, that should have been the year they made a big and a small, right? If there was a smaller version of that phone, it would have been awesome. Would have been awesome. All right. So 7.1.1 updates, go grab those. You can manually flash them, but you should have an OTA at this point. So in the last couple of weeks, I feel like this whole headphone jack going away has been flowing out from a whole bunch of Android manufacturers. So we know Motorola on the Moto Zs earlier this year killed it. Then Apple killed it in the iPhone 7s. And now Samsung's being rumored to kill headphone jack, although I don't know if that rumor is holding up. I feel like that switches every other day too. Sometimes they're not, sometimes they are. HTC obviously released the Bolt a few weeks back, and it has no headphone jack. So it seems like we're going down this road of everyone just going, sure, let's just do that because that's what people do. So we ran a poll.
Hell yeah, we did.
To talk about whether or not people care. I haven't looked at the results, pulling them up now.
I can tell you, yes, my phone needs a headphone jack is at 71%. And no, my phone doesn't need a headphone jack at 29%. So an overwhelming amount of people say, yes, my phone needs a headphone jack.
Okay, so where do you stand on that?
Oh, I'm totally yes. I'm totally yes. I mean, it makes no sense. Like, so until the entirety of like my audio experience in life switches to USB Type-C, then I'll always need a headphone jack, right? So I've got my little earphones right now, and they plug right into my mic with a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. There's no Type-C port. Like, yes, there's adapters, but no, I don't want an adapter. I want to charge my phone at the same time and listen to music or whatever. And plus Bluetooth, and not to like be all audiophile, but I don't want Bluetooth constantly, right? Running on my phone, it drains battery, etc. Like, it's just not necessary for me. So I'm a no guy. All right, I'm a yes guy. I need a headphone jack. Yeah.
I don't use headphones a lot because I sit at home all day.
Sure.
And so I don't necessarily use, like, you walk your dogs a lot and you probably listen to music a lot while you do that.
Yeah.
So I like when I get in my car, connect through Bluetooth. At home, I just stream things through speakers or whatever, right? And Google Home and stuff like that. When I travel, I do use, but I also have some Bluetooth headphones for when I travel. So I don't know that I know I'm in the minority. I don't know that I care. And so if a phone doesn't have a headphone jack, I don't think that's a deal breaker for me. Like, I don't think it would piss me off that much. I think there's times where I would obviously be annoyed, like little earbuds. Like a lot of times if I just travel somewhere, sometimes I'll just throw earbuds in because they're easy to pack and whatnot. And so I wouldn't be able to do that any longer. But I do have a couple other pairs of headphones that I travel with that are Bluetooth. And so, and like my workout earbuds are Bluetooth, even though, like you said, Bluetooth kind of sucks.
Yeah, sometimes.
I think I'm fine with it going away. I just don't know that I agree with the idea that it needs to go away. Like headphone
Totally.
jacks don't really take up much space.
They take up no space. I've got that Axon 7 Mini. I mean, it's ridiculously thin, yet it's got a headphone jack. It's got dual front-facing stereo speakers. Like, this is like the audiophile's phone right here that
Like
Axon made. I know, it's
Pixel's pretty thin. It has a headphone jack. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Exactly. There's no reason your phone needs to be thinner than 3.5 millimeter, right? So I just say keep adding it, right? You can switch to USB Type C. You can have both. You can have headphone jack and Type C. And then maybe a couple of years from now, then once people are kind of familiar with the idea, then just ditch it. But not every company needs to dive right into it.
Well, in like the Moto Z, it was ridiculously thin. I sort of get why that phone, but it's stupid to have a phone that thin. That doesn't make any sense. Like I just said, the Pixel, this is a thin phone and it has a headphone jack. And I wouldn't want this phone to be thinner. So I don't even know that it's making up that much room for other things. Like I think somebody did a teardown of the iPhone 7 and where the headphone jack was, I think there's just like a block there now. I don't think Apple used it to add an extra battery.
Yeah.
They just wanted to make it thinner to be thin. It doesn't seem like there's a good argument for why we need to kill it. Like 3.5 millimeter headphone jack it's fine. It's a fine technology. It works.
It works.
And everyone's really nice headphones use it if they want to. I guess I don't know what the argument for killing it really is, other than let's change headphone technology. Does anyone believe that wireless headphones are ever going to be as good a quality as wired headphones? There's no way they can be.
Not yet.
It might be a long time. And I don't know that anyone needs to deal with the years leading up to that.
No, definitely not.
Maybe I'm just not being visionary enough, but it seems stupid. I haven't heard a good argument for why it needs to go away, other than, well, Apple did it and they just want to change the stuff, and it's like, okay, let's change the stuff just to change it. No, that's stupid.
People talk about Square, the that card reader that merchants will use.
Oh yeah, what the hell? They're gonna have to come out with the Type C version, right?
Type C version, yeah, or just use an adapter. I mean, the adapters do exist, people, and they do sort of work. Although I will say I have confirmed, at least for myself, Android Auto from Type C to an adapter to micro USB does not work, at least on my set. I have one in one of my cars, my girlfriend's car, and it does not work, unfortunately. So Type C to micro USB with the little adapter, no go. So, and that was really unfortunate, right? Because I've got the micro USB coming straight out of my dash, and now Android Auto and the whole dash is basically worthless to me now because I can't use Android Auto. So, and that's why we installed it.
So you'd have to take it all out and swap cables.
Swap cables, yeah. But you know, like I'm gonna do that. I'm not a freaking mechanic here,
right?
So,
yeah, I don't like this. Like I said, for me personally, I don't know that it'll affect me that much if headphone jacks all start going away. I just don't understand the reason to just jump in and do it. Like Type C always made sense. It's a universal thing that has more power and it's capable of doing all this stuff. Like changing ports like that makes sense. Killing the headphone jack just because Apple wants to kill it, that's just stupid. And then to see everyone just line up behind them like, yeah, we can make really cool wireless headphones. That's just stupid. I don't know if you read any of the AirPods reviews, but everyone said the audio quality is just pretty average crap. They basically sound like regular earbuds. No one was like, oh, blown away by the AirPods sound.
Well, yeah, how are you supposed to be blown away by the AirPod sound?
Right,
Definitely.
but they're $160, right? So you would hope maybe the quality would be pretty good. And everyone said, no, they're average. Right, it's Apple.
Come on, it's Apple.
Yeah, it's not like
since when has Apple really cared about like music and like experiencing music?
Yeah, Apple's never come out with a really nice pair of headphones, right? That's just earbuds.
They bought Beats, for God's sake. I mean, that should really sort of prove the point that they don't care about audio quality.
That's true.
They just want the name. They want the names, and they just want the money. That's all they care about.
Yeah. See, and Samsung Shield says, and you have to worry about battery life. That's another thing. Now you have to charge more crap.
I know. I had a pair of the Gear Live earbuds from Samsung, and
like 2-hour battery life.
Yeah, I really liked them, but it's more like an hour. If you're Bluetooth audio, it dies extremely fast. Like, you know, you play a few songs. I was on a walk, taking my dogs around, and you play get through 10 songs. your battery is at 25%. And you're like, dude, really? Like, I just got like quarter through my playlist. What's up?
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, and then so you can opt. They have built-in storage, so you can choose to put up to 4 gigs of music on them. Yeah, it doesn't seem all that much, at least in terms of like, I want, if I've got the cloud with all my music on it, like with tons of different genres, I want access to all of it, not just, a few albums.
Right.
So, and then you've got to transfer through a desktop portal and all that stuff. Like, it's a pain. It's a pain.
It sounds like hell.
Yeah, it's just not what I want. So a 3.5 millimeter sort of just cuts all of that out of the, the problem, the equation.
So. It does. Well, next year should be fun. That's the innovation everyone's going to bring, is killing headphone jacks to try to convince us all that we need wireless crap, or to just use dongles. I guess that's it. We just use dongles and I stop complaining.
Dongle life. Yeah, hashtag it. Dongle life.
Woof. All right, in acquisition news, Pebble has been bought by Fitbit, and Fitbit is essentially just shutting them down, which is interesting. So Pebble, for those of you, well, you guys know who Pebble is. They created some of the first smartwatches that anyone ever cared about, and they went through Kickstarter, and they sold quite a few of them actually for a startup. And this is actually a pretty sad story. So Pebble was once the smartwatch darling, right? Like, it came out with the first ones. Everyone's like, oh, and the battery lasts like a week, and it's really cool, and they have apps, and they work on both platforms. And then the Android Wear came out, and Apple's Apple Watch or whatever it's called came out. And Pebble always kind of said, well, we use e-paper, so we last a week, and all these other guys last a day. And at one point, like I said, they were the darling. And there's all these reports now that they've been bought, that companies offer like hundreds of millions of dollars for them, and they turned it all down. They were like, no, we're going big by ourselves. And Fitbit apparently bought them for 40 million.
So I think it was Citizen who offered them $740 million.
Is it really that much?
Yeah, nearly $1 billion. And Pebble's like, no, I think we're gonna hold out for 35 million.
Like, the vision there of their CEO is so terrible.
That hurts.
So Fitbit bought them for 40 million, and the 40 million was basically to cover all this debt that Pebble had started accruing because they ran out of money. They ran out of money, weren't selling as much, and they had to start taking on some debt, I believe. And I think that money is really just going to cover that. I don't think the CEO is walking out of there with 25 mil in the bank. Like,
probably not.
And so some of the team came on to Fitbit. They're going to slowly shut the products down. They said they'll leave them live until 2017, but who knows what the experience will be like. This is really like Fitbit said, we're just going to make you go away, and we'll take on some of your people. Like, Fitbit's like, we don't want anything to do with your products. We don't want any hardware. You can shut down sales right now because we don't want to support any of it. Like, Fitbit, this is actually pretty bad. Like, Fitbit just said, we're buying you. We'll take on some of your technology that we might be able to use, but really we just want you to go away so that we're it. And let's just be done with this. Sure, we'll give you some support until end of 2017, but we don't want anything to do with this. It's actually pretty bad. And yeah, Pebble reportedly could have been bought years ago for hundreds of millions of dollars, and they said no.
Yeah, if you're working for Fitbit, you're just loving life right now. You're like, wow, there's one competitor. We just bought them for pennies on the dollar. And that's one way to do it.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad situation if you were a big Pebble fan, number one. If you worked at Pebble and early invested in Pebble, yikes. So anyway, that happened. It was rumored before it was ever announced, and then that came out. And
R.I.P. Pebble.
Yeah. All right. T-Mobile announced a new product called Digits in the last couple of weeks. So Digits is basically the latest one number to rule them all sort of feature, sort of like AT&T's number sync. I do not believe Verizon has a version of this, but a lot of people are comparing it to Google Voice, but it's not fully like Google Voice. Basically, like, you get a number from T-Mobile, and then you can link other numbers to it, like you would do Google Voice, and have your phone ring on multiple different phones and all of this stuff. It's interesting, but it's in like a beta, and it's only free for now. They could potentially charge you for this later on. I tried to get into it, and they shut me down. They said, no, we're full or something.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, so it's out there. It's hard to get excited about it, even though I like technologies like this. Like I think this stuff's cool. Like where you can have one number and it works on all these. And they've created apps. So if you have a Verizon phone, you can install the T-Mobile Digits app, and you can access your T-Mobile number on your Verizon phone or AT&T phone or whatever. So they've actually done, I think, a cool job with it, but it's obviously still early on. And Google Home's back there talking to me. Did I say anything about Home? I don't think so. Anyway, so
wow,
she's just going.
Sometimes she'll just go off.
Yeah, she was too. All right. So anyways, yeah, T-Mobile Digits the thing. I wish we could share lots more about it, but there's just not really that much to go on. You and I are both Google Voice users, and I don't know how we would live without it in this line of work because we test phones with new numbers and things like that all the time. And we also have plenty of complaints about Google Voice, like dealing with messaging and things like that. If you ever try to send an actual SMS or MMS or group text or something like that, it's kind of a pain in the ass. But so I've been looking for something different, and this could have been maybe an option, but now I don't think so. All right, so this is interesting news. Speaking of flying, U.S. Department of Transportation had some sort of, are these like, was this like a cryptic post where they didn't really say, but they were kind of hinting at like maybe allowing people to make calls on airplanes? Like you looked into this. What did they say?
Yeah, this was like a real thing. This is who is it? The U.S. Department of Transportation is officially leaning towards approving in-flight phone calls, which currently is not allowed for obvious reasons, you would think. But so they said they're going to give it the thumbs up to in-flight phone calls. So
whether they're going to allow it to be up to airlines or something.
Exactly. So the whole thing, there's two caveats. One, the airlines have to approve it. And then the second being that anyone who's about to purchase a ticket for an airline needs to be made completely and fully aware that the flight offers phone calls. Apparently they think that this, would deter people from flying, like having to listen to your neighbor talk on the phone for the entire flight. And it might. Yeah, it might. I heard one person mention in the comments that they would use that time to like make all their really boring calls, like to billing centers, or if there was like some stupid, they got to call the IRS for some crap. They're gonna wait to do it while they're on the phone or on the flight. So, but like I said, this is the federal government we're talking about, an agency of the federal government. So it could be a long time.
Yeah, before the stuff ever actually is allowed.
Exactly. But then again, the carriers have to approve it or allow it on their flights. So, and it all stems from the quote unquote improvements we've seen with in-flight Wi-Fi. This would all be handled Wi-Fi. We're not talking cell usage here, towers.
How good would the quality be if you were making a Wi-Fi call on terrible go-go internet?
Quality is going to be total crap.
It's going to be bad, right?
It's going to be bad.
It's going to be a constant flow of people dropping calls
delay.
and complaining.
You say something, have to wait 10 seconds for them to reply.
Wait, can you hear me? Are you there? Are you there? Can you hear me? I don't know what's going on. Like that would be half your conversation.
Exactly. And then your neighbor has to listen to it. Yes. So definitely would prefer if, we just kept phone usage to a minimum. Like Wi-Fi is fine. If you want to browse the web, like by all means, go for it. That's great. But talking on the phone that's a public thing. Like that, you're bringing everyone else into your life, and that's
and
not
when people talk on airplanes. When you land and everyone's like, "Oh, let me get my phone out." Oh yeah, like no one does it quietly. They just yell into the thing. So I do understand the idea of it being there for emergencies.
Sure.
Like if you're on a flight and someone needs to get a hold of you, that would be nice. But if you say only for emergencies, how do you screen that? Like there's the jerk off in the seat behind you making business calls, and he's like, "No, it's an emergency."
This is an emergency. Yeah. I got 20 million Deutschmarks on the line here. Yeah, this is an emergency.
Yeah, so this is
sell AMD stock, like Samsung Shield in the chat.
So yeah, this is not a fun news story at all. I don't think any of us want calls on airlines.
No, that'll be the next poll.
You might as well just bring smoking back if you're going to do that.
Oh yeah, totally. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Let's see what else. This is just kind of a random news story, but Amazon announced this new little mini grocery store, sort of like a Plaid Pantry 7-Eleven, called Amazon Go, and it's cashierless. You just walk in with an app, let it know you're there, and grab whatever you want and walk out, and it charges you later on. I want one of these right down the street for me. I would love to never have to
Talk to somebody.
not that I have any problem with cashiers, but you know, when I think the waiting in line thing, and it's not the cashiers that I usually have issues with, it's the people in front of me that don't know what they're doing and they don't know how to swipe their card, or they pull a checkbook out. I can't believe those even exist anymore. But yeah, like walking in and just grabbing stuff and walking out, that's awesome.
It's the darn coupon clippers that I'm not like.
Yeah,
or they'll ask the cashier, "Hey, do you happen to have this week's ad with the coupon for this?" I'm like, "No, you bring in your own coupons. The store does not provide like on-site coupon redemption giving. Like, no, this is not how this works."
Well, especially now you've got chip readers and people are like, "I don't know how this works."
I just got my new debit credit card with the chip, and I'm like not looking forward to that life. I see people using it and I'm like, nah, dude, look, you gotta stick it in and then wait like an extra 10 seconds.
Oh yeah, none of them are fast. They're all slow.
Yeah, that totally sucks.
Some of them though, you don't have to sign anything, which is nice.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That's why I just want my bank simple. If you're listening, to already support Samsung Pay, so when the new S8 comes out, I don't have to deal with any of it. I can just swipe everywhere with my phone. But yeah, my bank sucks.
So anyway, that's Amazon Go. There's one store in Seattle. They haven't said that they're going to do this in other areas.
Sounds really cool.
It does sound really cool. My guess is that they'll do it in this store and then they'll start partnering with people rather than Amazon building out all these stores. My guess is they're going to partner with, like, you'll see them partner with Plaid Pantry or something, or 7-Eleven, or, you know, like maybe even like a regional convenience store type of thing. They'll do that. That's my guess.
That'd be kind of cool too.
The terrible thing though is, you know, that kills off a whole bunch of jobs. So that's not exactly awesome. While I love automation, it does kind of kill a whole bunch of jobs.
Yeah, but then it sort of makes you question whether that job is necessary. I mean,
this is true. This is true.
Yeah,
the future. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone could just move to Oregon and you could be a gas pumper. You know, like I'm from California and we all pump our own gas. And when I came up here, I get out of the car expecting to pump my own gas. The dude about shanked me. So what are you doing? You can't touch that. I'm like, dude, I'm from California. I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want. I'm gonna pump my own gas.
Well, like from being from Montana, same thing, right? Pumped our gas our whole life, and then when we moved to Oregon, it was a little weird getting used to that. I don't know if you guys know that in the chat. That in Oregon, you can't pump your own gas. We actually have gas attendants, and it's illegal. I'm pretty sure for you to pump your own gas. If you try to do it, you can. Not that they'll probably arrest you, but they get really mad.
I don't know why they get so mad. It's like, whatever. I'm doing your job for you. You're still getting paid.
Yeah.
I just don't like the way they maybe sometimes some people top off, some people don't top off. I'm personally not a fan of topping off.
You shouldn't know. Cars don't recommend you top off ever.
Oh, they top off. The dude next to my house tops off.
If a dude tops off, you should tell him that he should not be topping off. This isn't like a 1965 old beater like that you can top off. Like new cars are not supposed to be topped off.
He's a topper offer.
You tell him no. You tell him, Tim.
Yeah. It's like an episode of Seinfeld. But yeah.
It is. So yeah, convenience stores. I don't know the future there. What's going to happen there? But it's a cool concept, and I really like the idea. But yeah, computers are totally taking over our lives. It's really sad. Let's see. So we also ran a poll this week asking. Well, a little backstory. Tim and we talk about Gmail versus Inbox. I'm a big Inbox user. Tim's a Gmail user, and you gave Inbox a shot. You just were like, "This isn't for me," and you're Gmail.
To clarify, I re-downloaded Inbox this week, and I've been using it solely this week. So far so good. Like, there's just a lot of the bundling stuff I'm not a fan of. I feel like I might miss something when things are getting bundled together. I just want a chronological inbox. You know what I mean? So.
Well, yeah, you have to get used to that not being that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I found a way to decouple a few of the things that were being bundled. So it's not that bad, actually. Although I don't use Snooze. I don't use a lot of the features. Anyway, I'll let you finish, but I am using Inbox. Wanted to clarify.
All right. So the other day he wasn't, and we talked about it, and we trashed on each other for using, the one we're using and all that, and had some fun with it. So anyway, we decided to run a poll and ask which people are using, and 61% are still using Gmail, 34% on Inbox, 5% other. We also had a bunch of people comment that said they use both. Some people use one account for each app, which I thought was which I thought was weird. I mean, these handle
That's
multiple
weird.
accounts, but that's just what some people do. I think some people were using 3 email apps, like one account in each, and they were using a different third-party email app, which I thought was really weird. But hey, whatever you got to do. So, anyways, that's interesting that you're using Inbox. I love Inbox because I can hammer through email, especially in the morning, right? So when I wake up in the morning, I have 45 new emails because companies send us press releases and most of it's garbage and people want us to look at apps and people have tips and there's all this stuff, right? We have all this stuff and Inbox bundles a lot of that stuff. And so I can go through and just read the subject line of most of these in like a whole bundle. Like say there's 10 in a bundle. And if all of them look like trash that I would never read, I just hit one button and they all get archived. And so it used to take me, I had to individually go through and swipe each one and archive them or whatever. Now I just bundle archive things and then I'm done with my email catch up. And it takes me 2 minutes where it used to take me maybe 5 to 10 or something like that. So that's what I really like about it. But then I do snooze stuff because I'm a procrastinator. And so like if I have like administrative crap I need to take care of, I snooze that stuff for days on end. Or like I like to use it with bills because you can snooze stuff until like 2 days before your bills due, you know? And then the other thing is trip bundles. I know Google has its Trips app and it does the same thing, but Inbox has Trips basically built into it and it bundles like all of your fun stuff for all your trips that you're doing into a bundle. I think Inbox is like the greatest email app ever.
Yeah, at the same time, I'm just like, it's just email. I don't really care. You know, like I don't want to. Like, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny, like the way how passionate people get about antiquated technology, like email. But for a while, I was just Gmail just works. Like I don't need anything fancy. But now that I'm using Inbox, I'm like, okay, I get it. At least it looks better.
It does look nicer. Gmail looks, especially in the Gmail web version, it looks so old. I've been having issues with our work email in Inbox for some reason, sending emails. And so Google's tip was to just use Gmail for now. I'm not even kidding. They have a support page for the error. I looked up and said like, just use Gmail. And yeah, using it just looks so old and gross.
I will say, yeah, I've been using the Inbox app, but I'm using the Gmail interface on web just because I don't think that would be too much if I switched to Inbox on desktop too. Like I like the look of it, but dude, I can't do it.
That's a lot of Inbox.
It would
Inbox actually is a really great mobile app. The desktop version, I'll give you that. You can tell it's built for mobile. I mean, I use it, but I see what you're saying there. Yeah. It's interesting that you're using Inbox though.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Yeah. I wish there was a standalone app, but I'm actually testing a standalone Mac app called Airmail right now. It's actually really good. Instead of tab, I'm going tabless email. I'm actually using a separate app.
Okay. When's that come out? Can you tell me?
Oh no, you can buy it. It's like $10 in the Mac app store.
Oh.
It's pretty legit.
Does it work for work email?
Oh yeah.
Airmail?
It's called Airmail. It's been out for a while. I believe there's an iPhone app for it and stuff like that. We'll never get it on Android. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's legit. Unified inbox or separate inboxes, whatever you want. All the keyboard shortcuts work. You get
Airmail 3?
Airmail 3. That's it.
It just looks like an iOS.
It does, but it's pretty legit. I've only been using it for 2 days, so I don't have like a full review here for you.
All right. Well, I'll think about it. Looks like have they added a touch bar support? Is that touch bar support?
I have no idea. Maybe.
Anyway.
I think they're one of those with it Apple companies that makes iOS stuff or Apple stuff and goes after it. Anyway. So yeah, Gmail's still leader in the clubhouse, but Inbox definitely has some fans.
Hell yeah.
Yep. All right, quickly, Yahoo announced this week that another security breach has been shown to them. Previously, so in September, I think it was, they announced that in 2014, they were hacked and like 500,000 people or something were affected by the hack. And then this week, they announced that actually back in 2013, they were hacked and somebody made off with over 1 billion accounts, credentials at least. So, yeah, that's great that Yahoo's telling people they were hacked 4 years later. I mean, could it get any worse than that?
I think I said it right when it happened. I was like, this is what you get for using Yahoo. Like, I mean, if you're still on Yahoo, this is karma. But
Yeah, it's that's bad.
I
That's
don't know
bad.
why. Yeah, I don't know why it takes so long. Could you imagine if Home Depot and Target came like 4 years later and was like, "Oh yeah, all these credit cards got
Seriously.
hacked."
Like some of those companies get destroyed in the press when it takes like a week for them to notify everyone.
Right.
Yahoo took 4 years, and they're like, "Yeah, we got hacked like 4 years ago." Like it's already all your data has already been sold and used. Like if you were gonna get screwed by this hack, you were screwed probably 2 or 3 years ago. Yahoo, what a disaster! And Verizon was trying to buy them, and now everyone keeps saying Verizon's trying to wiggle their way out, and I think they've been potentially looking to do that for some time, but.
Yeah, I feel like announcements like
Yes.
this would allow Verizon to like breach or
You would
void the
you
contract.
would think so. And after the first one was announced, Verizon had already bid to buy them,
Right.
and so they were kind of questioning it then. And how this one's out, like I don't know. I don't know if that kills them. It was so long ago. Like Yahoo's basically a new company since then. So
That's brutal.
what a mess. Speaking of messes, Evernote
Oh,
this week.
God.
I know I'm so sick of talking about Evernote. So Evernote this week announced a new privacy policy, and in that privacy policy, they they essentially revealed that they have machine learning like everyone, right? It's all cool. But in their machine learning, they also need employee oversight. And so they admitted that some employees are going to have to look at your notes if you want to use their machine learning. Uh, and so they said that. And then they also said that there's no way to opt out of this basically because no matter what, we're probably going to need to look at notes here and there. Um, because of like law requirements, but also just because we might need to improve our product. And everyone rightfully freaked out about that and said they were leaving Evernote and all this stuff. And so Evernote then, their CEO the next day released a statement and said, sorry, well, let's just try to clarify here. It's like a specifically picked group of people that I oversee, assuming you trust him. Like, I don't know this guy,
I
but
don't know this guy.
so a specific group of people that only he's picked. I don't, if that means anything. I don't know anything about the CEO. I'm not trying to trash the guy, but like, come on, dude. Like, we don't know you. Why should we trust you and who you're picking? So so he said that, and he didn't really say anything different. He just kind of
He
restated.
reiterated.
Yeah, and so everyone still then was like, yeah, no, we're leaving Evernote. Like, screw you.
Yeah, we're still leaving.
And so last night they hit me up again and said, "Here's our third statement or something on this," and they basically had to scrap the privacy policy changes that were going to go in next month that included all this employee oversight, and they're going to look after it and change, and it'll take a month to come up with a new one. And their machine learning stuff is now going to be an opt-in thing, and I believe you can say no, we don't want employees looking at it even if I'm in machine learning. Like they've had to change it, and this is probably what they should have done.
It's good. Although I
Yeah.
don't know, I'm not an Evernote user. Maybe you can fill me in.
I'm
But
not anymore.
the notes that they would be looking at, the employees. I mean, does it show your name or is it all anonymous? I'd imagine that if a machine is trying to figure out what you're sort of saying or in the notes or whatever, like it could just block out your name and user account info and just look purely at the note itself. Like,
Yeah.
who cares what the content is? I know people want to be private and stuff. Like, who cares if there's nothing linked to your account and it's really just the contents of the note?
Mhm.
I don't know if there's really that big of a deal.
So, a couple of things. One thing you can do to prevent it is anything that you have in a note that's text. Apparently, this doesn't work for images, I don't think. Anything that's in text, you can actually like highlight text in your notes and right click or something and encrypt it. You can actually encrypt some of your notes. So then if one of their employees were to look at a note and it's encrypted, they obviously can't see anything. But the other thing is, in the second statement, Evernote said that if a document or something's pulled up and there's sensitive information, their machine learning will block out that stuff. But again, do you trust their machine learning? They need employee oversight over it. Like, is it that smart? I don't know. So that's part of the thing is you can encrypt some of it, and the other part is it's supposed to block some of that stuff out. But like, who knows how good it is? Like, you don't know what they're seeing.
Nope.
So there's just all these questions there, and people, like I said, rightfully freaked out, and so Evernote's backing away from that now, and they probably should if they want to keep customers, because they were pretty quick with these statements, so I would imagine they probably did actually take a big hit, and people probably did leave their service.
Interesting. Well, good for them. Although, yeah, someone in the chat said, Tim, what if the contents are login info for
Yeah.
something? Yeah, no, absolutely,
Yeah, how many
totally.
people have a note that says like all of my
All my
logins?
passwords.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's Google Keep, man. You don't have to worry about that. Uh, I don't know. I just use my head for like a lot of like important details like
Right.
that. I mean, really, like if someone hacks my Facebook or my Twitter, I don't necessarily like care. You know, like I care, of course, but like I like my bank information. I would never write that down in a note and like keep that somewhere. It's just not something I
Yeah, I
would
don't
do
think
because
I
I
would
wouldn't feel
either.
safe regardless of where I kept it. You know what I mean? So
So what
I
if
don't know.
Google is looking at your Android Pay stuff here and there? Just
Go for it.
cause
I don't use it. Go. But yeah, no, if I did use it, I don't know. I mean,
it's probably not
I
a good
guess I wouldn't
example.
care, right? Because it's Google, and if you don't trust Google, then who can you trust?
Well, and there's another part to that too. A lot of people were saying, I did see some people say, Google does this probably every day with all your services, and not even compare or complain about it. But with Evernote, it's essentially now a paid service. Like there's a free tier, and it sucks, and I don't think anyone uses it because it's useless. But Evernote, you're paying for this stuff on one end. Like for Google, we're trading off some privacy, right? Because it's free.
Right.
And Evernote, you're paying for a lot of this stuff, and they were still like, no, you can't opt out of this. We're just going to look at crap. I don't know. Like I'm with you a little bit in that if somebody peeks at something, like I'm probably not going to keep the most private information in my Evernote, but I think there's a lot of people that probably do. You know what I mean? And they're
Totally.
paying for this, and they expect privacy, and they
I
expect
agree.
to be trusted. And so, not a lot of. And look, privacy is a big deal right now. Look at Yahoo gets hacked every other day, and we don't find out for 4 years. So, yeah. Anyway, Evernote changed, and we'll
It's
see how
definitely
that
a
shakes
downer.
out.
I think Evernote should have been a bit more transparent about what was taking place, and especially like from the get go, the ability to opt out. Yeah, of course, if you guys get a subpoena or a warrant, you're gonna have to turn over user data. But at the same time, don't say that Joe Schmo with his cup of Joe is gonna be like looking over your notes as he's like helping machine learn about them. Oh man, like what? Like the wrong way to go about something. But
Yeah. And so one
yeah,
of the things which I'm assuming they're going to scrub from it is they talked about like the law enforcement stuff and complying with all of that, but there's this little note, at least in their current policy, that says that they may need to view content for troubleshooting purposes or to maintain and improve the service. So that means they could need to look at it for anything, right?
that's
Like they're
big
like,
too.
we might need to improve this, so I'm going to look at this guy's notes. Like that's not okay.
Well, it's possible, say, if you're on the phone with support and the user asks, "Hey, can you look at this with me
Right.
or something?" Sure, like
Totally fine.
that could sort of fall under that category. But
Which
yeah,
is what they're going to do is
right,
make it, the customer has to approve it. And that's
yeah,
the way it should be.
that's fine. Then
Yeah.
you can look at all my passwords.
Yeah. And you can look at my list of passwords that I keep in Evernote unencrypted.
Yeah, just be smart with your info, people. Like that's all. Like just
Yeah.
be smart with your stuff. That's all.
Yeah, I haven't used Evernote in a while because Google Keep came out and it's simpler and syncs across all my Google accounts
And it just works.
and it just works. So yeah, I haven't used Evernote, and Evernote just got so bloated with crap that like it became this overwhelming note platform that I kind of gave up on it. I used to use it, but I like simple note stuff.
Everyone wants to like innovate. Like, dude, it's just notes. Like you don't have to be crazy about it.
Keep it simple, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
for
let me
1,000.
search across everything and let me
Yeah.
attach some photos, and that's cool.
Yep, 1,000 years we've just had paper and a pencil or a pen, and now it's ridiculous.
Just bring
Too
back the
much.
pen and paper, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Google Home. We reviewed it a couple of weeks ago, and it's slowly been adding on some new stuff. Like this week, you got the ability to link your Google Photos account and your Netflix accounts. So now you can talk to Google Home and have it cast things from Photos and Netflix to a TV. I tried it the other day. It still didn't work for me. I don't know. Have you tried it?
Haven't tried it yet.
I haven't either. I did try it. I couldn't get it to work, but it's supposed to work now, and I'm sure that'll be great fun. But also yesterday, a whole bunch of new actions were added. So you can now order Domino's pizza, play blackjack,
Misdiagnose yourself with WebMD.
yes, WebMD on there.
It has
To-do-
integration with
to-doist.
Todoist. Yeah.
Yeah. Wall Street Journal on there, NPR One, NBC News, Huffington Post. So there's a whole bunch of new news outlets, CNBC's on there. So all that stuff's on there as well. There's a personal trainer service now. Lots of stuff. I thought Pizza Hut was on there, but I'm not
No,
seeing
just
it on our list.
Domino's.
Yeah. So they're adding to it, and these are all those little things. We talked about this in our episode where we talked about the home review and how Alexa sends you an email every week that says what's new with Alexa. And these are usually the types of stuff that Amazon every week adds to Alexa. So that's good that Google just added 30 plus things on there.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know that I'm going to use any of these, but keep adding them. Keep on adding them. Definitely going to use WebMD to misdiagnose myself.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time, obviously. Google Home is such a brand new product. I saw a lot of people saying like, "Oh, at this rate, I mean, they're never going to catch up to Amazon Echo." Well, Echo's had like a couple of years now to
it's got to be like 2 years, right?
Yeah, to build in all these services, and literally. This week, Google opened up the whole conversation actions with third-party services to developers. So give it time. I think it's only going to get better, like everything else, So it's brand new. Give it time, and yeah, it's fine for now. I mean, like we said, we would still recommend Echo alongside Google Home, just depending on like what ecosystem do you want to invest in. So Home is not the Echo killer as of right now, but it's getting better.
Well, we've got a Cortana one apparently on the way from Harman Kardon, right?
Yeah, that's the latest. They were teasing something on YouTube through the Windows YouTube app, not Harman's or Microsoft's, but the Windows. Because they're showing off that it's Cortana based digital assistant, and with sound from Harman Kardon, you can expect really mediocre sound for a really high price. It's gonna be nice.
Shots fired there. Woo.
Sorry, Harman. Kardon. I love the name Harman Kardon, but over the years, we feel that their quality has dipped a bit while the price has not changed whatsoever. It's sort of like Sony, and like not to bash Sony either, because I know you love Sony. Like everyone loves high-end Sony products, but at the same time, like really, I feel like all you're paying for is the name, and that really frustrates.
Sony's cameras are awesome.
Whoa. Sony's cameras are great. I'm sort of talking television, audio, everything else, like cell phones, like all that stuff. Like cameras are completely different. Their cameras are great.
Yeah. But I would agree. So I do have a new Sony TV, and I really like it. It has Android TV built in.
I know. I didn't want to offend.
No, so I like that, but I'm with you in just about everything else. And their TVs, I feel like, did actually take a hit for a while. Their last like 2 years worth of TVs, much better. Actually, even last year they had some issues with some late bleed stuff, but anyway, this year seemed much better. Yeah, Sony as a brand in general, it depends on what you're getting for sure.
Totally.
Other cameras. Tim and I, that's what we shoot everything with, is Sony cameras, in case you were wondering.
Yeah, and we're not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored.
No, we just like their cameras. And it's like, the cameras are one of those things, sort of like Android versus iOS. You get in an ecosystem, right? Because you have lenses and batteries and crap.
E-mount.
It would be expensive for us to get out of Sony at this point.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to. Dang.
Bertzer says Xperia's rule, Tim. Try one. Nah, dude. Can't do it.
Yeah, I was an Xperia fan for a while. It's not that I'm just over it. Sony hasn't done anything to bring me back. I was a big Sony Z compact guy for years, like three models in a row.
If they would ever change the look of their phones, I may think about trying one. But the phone they just released yesterday, not that they did, but like the phones from this year look exactly like the phones from 2012, or before that. They all just look the same, and there's just nothing really intriguing, at least to me. Specs are fine, I guess. Cameras should be great, but
they're not. They never are. That's one of those things. So their cameras are always really, really slow to load, focus, and they can take decent pictures. And they always use like the newest Sony sensor, like it's their in-house damn camera company. Right? They create these really, really high-end sensors, and the new Xperia phones always feature it, and they never get the most out of it. They're always slow. So whoever it is on the mobile team that's tuning these things has no idea what they're doing, and they never have, because everyone else uses Sony sensors. Look at what Google and Samsung are doing with these things now. They're amazing.
Oh, yeah. They're pretty legit.
And Sony has no idea what to do with their own phones.
Yeah. Google apparently knows how to tweak them. HTC. HTC 10 had like the best smartphone camera in the world until the Pixel came around. So
that's right. Highest rated.
And yeah, all from the same company.
Yeah.
So.
Let's talk a couple apps. So Google's Gboard is official this week. So Google's Gboard, in case you guys missed that months ago, was a keyboard app that released on iOS. And it was cool because it had Google built into it. And so as you were typing in any app, you could just reach over and hit this little Google button, search Google, pull up, I will say GIFs forever again. GIFs, you could pull up like flight information. You could pull up just search results, restaurant info, maps, whatever. You could just pull things up and then it would copy and paste those into the conversation you were having, depending on what app you were in Gmail, whatever. You could just do this. And it was awesome. And we talked about how awesome it was. And then Google kind of said we're thinking about it for Android, but I kind of get the feeling they weren't initially that worried about it because they had Assistant coming, right? And so Assistant's built into Allo. And then if you have a Pixel phone, you have access to Assistant at all times. And so it never really felt like it was coming. And then this week, the Google Keyboard app got an update and it now has flipped. And Google Keyboard has gone away and it's now Gboard, the Google Keyboard or something like that. And so Gboard is here and you can indeed search within Google in any app, share some things. It doesn't have full GIF support, which is kind of weird. But if you're on 7.1, you have GIF support. So it's cool. And there's now a dedicated number row for people that seem really excited. People seem really excited about the dedicated number row.
Yes, they do.
So anyways, Gboard, it rolled out today. I think just about anyone can update to it. I side-loaded the update earlier in the week, but now that it's live on Play, I already had a new update. So Gboard. Other app, you want to talk about Facer?
Facer 3.0. It's huge. It is great.
Huge.
Trust me. It's pretty awesome. So the big change, at least according to Facer, like the first part of the announcement, is that they support new watches. New watches include Tizen watches, so the Gear S2, Gear S3 now supported by Facer 3.0, which is fantastic. Tizen at first, sort of hard to find a lot of different watch faces. I mean, Samsung already ships a lot, but now if you got Facer access, your whole world just opened up. So other new watches include like the Mission from Nixon, Polar M600, the two devices from Michael Kors, Zen Watch 3, which still isn't here. What the hell? Where is it? And the Moto 360 Sport. But on top of that, the new watch support, we've got something called Color Matcher. And this is pretty cool technology. So what you got going on, if you got your fit all ready for the day and you can't find, your watch face doesn't match the fit, then that's no go. You can't go outside looking like that. So what you do is you whip open the app, and inside the app is Color Matcher. And what that does is that opens up your simple camera API. The camera software recognizes what shirt, like say you're wearing a green shirt, camera recognizes that it's a green shirt and will then match that color onto the watch face. So you can be on fleek. And it's pretty dope. Color Matcher. It's such a fantastic idea, in my opinion. And
it's pretty cool.
And then also maybe even a bigger announcement is that Kellen and I are now watch face designers. So Facer launched, they sort of revamped Facer Creator. And so they have a Mac app available on the Mac OS App Store. And so we downloaded it. We're playing around, and Kellen published Droid Life's first Facer watch face available for all devices, as long as it's Tizen and Android. We will not and do not support the Apple Watch platform. Sorry.
Never.
We could, but no, we won't. So you can go check out Droid Life's own watch face. It looks really good, I will say. I mean, he was playing with it for 10 minutes and he made an awesome watch face. So yeah,
it's so sweet. The other night I was just playing with it again, just made like this little other watch face. It's cool. Facer 3.0. Yeah, the desktop app is what's sweet. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to make a watch face in one of these apps on your phone. It sucks. Like the UI is never that much fun. But on a desktop, you can actually like create your own images for it and do all this stuff. It's pretty sweet. I mean, you gotta have some time to do it, but yeah.
Oh, exactly. But yeah, Facer 3.0. And it's super easy to publish your own faces. So yeah, definitely. And I think, I don't know how long the sale was going on, but they did say that they had like the best of their premium watch faces, like a bundle of 30 faces for only $3. They said it was going on for 3 days, and that was December 13th. So, oh my God, you might, if you get it today,
last day, yeah.
it might still be for $3. So hurry up. $3 for premium watch faces. That's pretty good. So get on it while you can, people. If you rock Android Wear Tyson still, that is. I mean, I need to charge mine and probably get on that.
Probably should.
Because I want to rock the DL watch face, man. The OG, the original. The original.
The original. Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Anything else? It's quite a bit of stuff, actually. A lot of catch up there. Next week is Christmas, so no show next week. But we probably will do one the following week because even though it's leading into New Year's weekend, it's the week right before CES. So
CES preview show.
Yeah, so probably some sort of CES preview show to talk about who knows what. CES is kind of weird. Although we were talking about this the other day, I sort of feel like this CES might be a better CES in terms of mobile stuff. I don't know why I feel that way. I just think like some other players are kind of like Xiaomi's going to be there doing some stuff. I think Lenovo might do some stuff. I think it's not going to obviously be Samsung and LG and HTC. They're not going to do anything there. But I think some other players that might be stepping up may do some stuff. So if you just kind of wanted to see some off the wall kind of other brands trying to make a name for themselves, I think CES might be a place they try to do that this year.
Yeah, well, we may have a new Shield Android TV from NVIDIA. So that'd be pretty dope.
I really hope they. If you guys haven't gotten into Android TV, NVIDIA's Shield TV is. I guess I haven't used Xiaomi's little Mi box or whatever the hell that thing's called. The NVIDIA Shield TV is awesome. So I have one in my master bedroom TV, and then downstairs I have a Sony TV that has it built in. The experience is just night and day different. The Sony TV's Android TV, like it's just slow and all this crap. The NVIDIA Shield TV just flies around. You got a sweet little remote. It just works awesome. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it's definitely nice.
That guy just said the Mi box. Samsung Shield says the Mi box is trash. Is it really? That's too bad because it's only like $70 and it seems like it could be a decent option.
Yeah. David says there's going to be a ton of VR and such. Yeah, see, that's like one thing. That is one thing I will say. This year we'll see a lot of connected crap. A lot of hearables. I hear hearables is the new buzzword for 2017.
Smart
Kill
toilets.
Me now.
Smart
toilets. And VR. And I can tell you, dude, VR is something I'm just like not interested in.
I know,
unfortunately.
I'll be the VR head of the staff.
It's funny how things change. Like that was me last year. I was like, I want to try all the VR stuff, and Kel was like,
hated on all of it.
Crap away from me. Like I don't want to get sick, dude. You're not gonna want to touch these VR head units that everyone else is wearing. Trust me, dude. Stay away from that stuff.
Yeah, I probably won't use any of them. I'll just talk to them about it.
All right.
And go, yeah, I'll stay pink eye free, please. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah. Anyway, CES is coming. I think it might be a decent CES. We're never gonna have CESs of old, of 2011 or whatever, when it was really crazy. This is not gonna happen, but I think it might be a decent CES. Unlike the last couple of years where absolutely nothing. Like Honor, I think, has some stuff to announce. Yeah. There's things going on. Qualcomm has some stuff to announce.
We're staying positive.
Stay positive. Either way, we're gonna have fun. It's Vegas, so
yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. Again, we're not going to have a show next week, Christmas break, but we will well, I guess it will be the next year almost, the week after that to finish out the year, prepare for CES. So, yeah, thanks for joining us. Droid Live Show. Peace.
Peace.